welded together? Well, my friend, you get yourself an
MEV Exoset.
The MEV Exoset turns your NA or NB Miata into a full tube frame, grown-up go-kart. This exoskeleton chassis kit was developed to be the most affordable, lightweight, easiest to assemble kit on the market. Now, obviously, we're shedding some pounds by, getting rid of its skin. The skin is one of the organs that slows you down the most. Why do you think skeletons are so fast? Now, the Miata is already a light car, but the Exoset is 35% lighter. That's deadlift territory for me. But I don't do deadlifts because my back, I just do power cleans. That kind of lightness makes the Miata's 100-ish horsepower a whole lot more fun. And the Miata comes stock with a super turboable motor, which makes it even more fun. I'm not saying you should do it. It's your life. I'm not the boss of you, but it would be fun. The kit costs $7,000, not including the Miata that you gotta cut up, and it supposedly requires about 100 hours. $7,000, not including the Miata that you got to cut up, and it supposedly requires about 100 hours to assemble. And there's a few companies that make Miata lift kits, so. Okay, so maybe the Exoset is still too much Miata for you. That's okay, because I've got an even better exoskeleton chassis kit car, and this one is even spookier than a skeleton.
DF Goblin.
DF Goblin is basically the same concept as the Exoset, but instead of using a Miata, it features the innards of a cold, hard American legend. Of course, I'm talking about the Chevy Cobalt. Let me tell you, by the time that you piece this kit together, you're not gonna have much Cobalt left, other than the subframe, the engine, and a few other pieces. The Goblin kit transforms your front engine, front-wheel drive Chevy into a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive this thing. According to Goblin's website, it's not even that hard. They laid out instructions for every part of the build, including buying a donor car, stripping it down, and each stage of the process. This thing is the IKEA Trollstorp of cars. And even if you do get stuck building it, there's an entire forum of absolute Goblin freaks that are just dying to help you out. And if you really want to get your panties in a twist, get yourself a turbocharged Cobalt SS, which will hit 60 miles per hour in 3.25 seconds with the Goblin kit. They say the Goblin takes about 200 hours to build, and it costs just under 10 grand, not including the donor.
You may be a goon, but what's a goon to a goblin? Nothing. You ain't got nothing.
So maybe tubes and skeletons aren't your jam. Maybe you want something a little bit more, Kuntashi, something a little bit more Testarossa-y. Well, this next one will give you all those exotic looks without the exotic price tag, and all you need is a Pontiac Fiero.
Aldino KO.
The Aldino KO kit will transform any year Pontiac Fiero into this. Why would you want to turn your Fiero into a fake Ferrari, Pantera, Lamborghini machine? Well, because driving ridiculous cars is almost as much fun as pissing off Ferrari owners. That's why Fieros are famous for being turned into kit cars, and that's for a really good reason. They're dirt cheap, the body can be replaced easily, they light on fire pretty easily, and they're already mid-engine. In fact, here is a Fiero that we found on Greg's list that has kit car candidate in the title. There might be more Fiero kit cars in the world than actual Fieros at this point. Unlike the exoskeleton kits that we talked about, most of the work with the Aldino involves stripping the Fiero's exterior and replacing it with all the fiberglass parts. It's supposed to take 150 hours to build and cost around 10 grand. I would be hard pressed to find a funnier $10,000 joke. This next car doesn't look like a car at all. It looks like a Disneyland freaking monorail, baby.
Car Factory ETV.
Car Factory ETV, or extraterrestrial vehicle, is a blob-shaped coupe with gull-wing doors, massive intake vents, and absolutely no rear-view side mirrors. Okay? Because in the future, you don't look to the past. And apparently, it's street legal in Florida because everything is. So what car is this thing even based on? Some kind of mid-engine thing? Something fast? Wrong. Dead wrong, cowboy. This spaceship is actually a Chevy Aveo underneath. According to the inventor who invented this invention, a complete build will cost you right around $20,000. So if you live in Florida and have $20,000 burning a hole in your pocket, this could certainly be an option for you.
Superlight Moab. Rah!
So you thought kits were only meant for cars, huh? Dead wrong again! 0 for 2. Wow, are you okay? This burly boy is made by a company called Superlight, who also makes a bunch of supercar looking vehicles. But the Moab is hashtag built different. It's an all-out race truck, 2-inch thick steel cage tubing, 20 inches of wheel travel, LS Powell, baby. The truck is rated to handle 750 horsepower, and those are off-road horsepower. That's the most sinewy, buffest kind of hearses. If you've never shopped for a trophy truck before, you might not realize that they're very expensive. I'm talking 250 grand. But the Moab kit starts at around $50,000, which, yes, is more expensive than some of the other cars on this list. But think about what you're getting for that price. Superlight claims that the build should take around 200 hours to complete. Now, we all know that that's the equivalent of watching Paul Blart 133 times. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you rather watch Paul Blart 133 more times, or would you rather build a 700 horsepower off-road trophy truck? Or would you rather move the TV into the garage, watch Paul Blart 133 more times, and build a 700 horsepower trophy truck? That's called a life hack, baby.
Ultima Evo.
You might recognize this as the weird fast car from Forza. It's a supercar. Literally, you can go out and buy one of these from Ultima for $100,000, or you can build your own. And then you can buy one of those bumper stickers that says built not bought, and you can put it right on your rear window. Except this thing doesn't even have a rear window because it's a freaking super duper car. Ultima's website says the kit car version of the Evo costs as much as a mundane new BMW M3, which is a weird kind of mean flex. But what does this kit car give you for mundane BMW M3 money? Well, let's start with 1,020 horsepower supercharged LS behind the pit. Thing only weighs 2,000 pounds. That's half a hearse per pound. That's a half a hearse per pound. Half a hearse per pound. Sure, some of the other cars on this list are fun, but the Ultima is a supercar. It goes 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. In a car that you and your cousin Dale built in your garage in a couple of weekends while drinking Pabst Blue Ribbons. That is not a good idea. The next car on this list is a replica kit based on a legendary British sports car. You think I'm talking about the Caterham 7? Strike 3! Damn, dude, dead wrong again. I'm talking about the
RCR XJ13.
which is based on the one-of-one Jaguar XJ13 race car. The Jaguar XJ13 was a racing car developed to compete at Le Mans, but it never raced, and only one of this car was ever produced. You might also notice that I said racing car, not race car. That's because it's British. Although this car had a lot of potential with its 5 liters,
What's up, Bernie?
Jaguar didn't prioritize the XJ13, and the development of Ford's GT40 quickly made it basically obsolete. It also didn't help that the prototype was crashed and lost forever. But that's where the RCR comes in. No, I'm not talking about regular car reviews. Shouts to those guys. Hi, fellas. I'm talking about race car replicas. Their XJ13 replica is a fiberglass body sitting on a mono chassis. Obviously, it's got the looks of the original Jag, but you get to decide what kind of guts you want to put in it. You can't do that with kids, all for a price tag starting around 30 grand. Just make sure that you measure your legs and butt before building this thing, because nothing's worse than spending 400 hours building a car that you can't fit in. Ask me how I know.
LB Specialist STR.
LB Specialist STR is a replica kit car of one of the most legendary rally cars of all time, Lancia Stratos. Shortest rally car ever, seriously. The original Stratus cost about $650,000, and LB Specialist STR costs about 5% of that price tag. And you also wouldn't be afraid to drive it. Much like the Stratos, the STR was designed to be fitted with a V6, either from an Alfa Romeo, a Toyota, or a Ferrari. I think I know which one I'd go with. Toyota. I would like to take this moment to point out that Lancia only makes one vehicle today. It's It's called the Ypsilon. You could drive an Ypsilon, or you could drive a brand new Toyota V6 powered rally car. Choice is yours. Shortest rally car ever. Capping off this list, no cap, is a very special kit car. Perhaps the greatest kit car ever. I'm talking about the Shelby Cobra 420 freaking 7. Shelby made less than 1,000 original Cobras, and they're worth like $5 million. But thanks to modern technologies like science and fabrications, there are a few companies that make their own flavor of Uncle Carol's creation. And I should mention that they're not technically called Cobras for legal reasons, but regardless, these are really sick cars. Factory 5 makes one called the Mark IV Roadster, which they claim is the world's best-selling, best engineered, and best performing replica of all time. Factory 5 says they'll sell you a complete kit for $20,000, but I think someone should tell them the definition of complete, because you still gotta come up with your own drivetrain, wheels, and paint. Personally, I'd make everybody flip their lids with Turbo K Series, BBS RSs, and Midnight Purple 2 paint. And unlike some of the other kits on this list, you can still be a tall-ass mofo and fit in this bad mamma jamma. This is a kit car that Shrek would fit in. And for that, this is the king of today's D-List. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the D-List. If you're new here and you like it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I really want to be better than all the other boys. While you're down there, click that join button. See what this thing called the Donut Underground is all about. If you guys want to learn more about building cars, check out our other series, Money Pit. And if you want to learn more about Shelby, the God, the Dude, check out this episode of my other show, Up to Speed. All right, I love you.
It's no secret that Dodge is a bit performance obsessed. Hell, they're so obsessed they build engines they can't legally put in cars yet. But outside of the drag strip and Trans Am, Dodge has largely been absent from motorsport since pulling out of NASCAR back in 2012. Since its very beginning, racing has been used to sell cars. Win on Sunday, sell on Monday. Dodge has a severe lack of next-gen tech in their stable, and racing is the perfect place to develop and